Hello there, Flamekeeper, and welcome to our humble little town. We've plenty of dragons of various specialities in need of new homes, and I trust you can find exactly the right places for all of them. And if not to worry, you're not the only soon-to-be reputable Flamekeeper who's arrived of late. With the help of you and your peers, this place will be bustling with activity before long. Welcome to Flamecraft. Roll out the town mat in the middle of the table and place the 6 starter shops, indicated with this trumpet icon, face up on any of the shop spaces. Place each starter artisan dragon, indicated with a similar trumpet icon, face up on the matching shop, covering the first slot along the bottom like so. Pile up all the goods tokens in their own separate supplies off to the side, somewhere everyone can reach them. Pile up the coins on the fountain. Sort the shop cards into 7 different piles based on the icon in the top left. 1 for each of the 6 goods, and 1 for all the others. Shuffle each of these piles, take 1 card each from the goods piles, and 4 from the other pile to form the shop deck. Shuffle this stack of 10 cards, and place it next to the town mat. Once you're familiar with the game, you can customise the shop deck's composition however you like. In a game with only 3 players, remove 1 Artisan Dragon card for each goods type from the Artisan Dragon's deck. In a game of 2 players, remove 2 of each. You can put these cards back in the box. Shuffle the rest and place a deck on its designated space next to the fountain. Reveal the top 5 cards and place them face up in the park. Shuffle the deck of fancy dragons and place it on the other side of the fountain. Decide which enchantments you're playing with, purple or golden. The rulebook recommends purple for your first game. Return the other deck to the box. Shuffle the deck you chose and place it on its space in the middle of the reputation track. Reveal the top 5 cards and place them face up in a row next to the deck. Give each player a dragon meeple and matching reputation heart and player aid card. Randomly choose one of the hearts to determine the first player, then put all of them at the start of the reputation track. Deal each player a hand of 3 artisan dragons and 2 fancy dragons. Everyone chooses one of these fancy dragons to keep and puts the other back on the bottom of the deck. In a game with 4 or 5 players, the 4th and 5th players each start with 1 goods token of their choice. On your turn, you'll choose a shop anywhere in town and move your dragon meeple onto that shop card. The shop you choose must be different from the one you went to last turn. If you choose a shop other players are currently visiting, you must give each of them 1 good or coin of your choice from your personal supply. If you haven't enough goods or coins to give to everyone else already there, you must choose a different shop. Then choose whether to gather or enchant. When you gather, you'll gain goods, coins and dragons from the shop based on the artisan dragons and enchantments it has. The icon in the top left corner of each card tells you what it gives you. Goods icons are self-explanatory. The colour wheel means you gain any 1 good of your choosing. This little icon means you gain a coin. Place any goods or coins you gain in a personal supply visible to all players. If you see this little dragon silhouette, you choose whether to take one of the artisan dragons in the park or draw one from the top of the deck and add it to your hand. After you've taken what you're gathering, you may, if you like, place 1 artisan dragon from your hand into any empty dragon slot in the shop. The dragon's icon must match one of the icons on the slot you're placing it in. If the slot you're covering has any heart icons, you'll advance that number of spaces round the reputation track. If you cover this icon, you'll draw a new fancy dragon card. We'll talk about that lot in a moment. The dragon silhouette, once again, means you add an artisan dragon to your hand from either the park or the top of the deck. And any coin icons you cover award you with that many coins from the supply. If you ever place an artisan dragon on the last empty slot at a shop, you'll draw a new shop from the deck without looking at it and place it face down on one of the empty spots in town. Whether you place a new dragon in the shop or not, you'll then have the option to fire up any dragon in the shop. Artisan dragons all have a fire up ability, as described next to the flame icon at the bottom section of the card. While the names of each dragon are unique, the abilities of all dragons with the same icon are identical. The last step when you gather from a shop is also optional, using the shop's special ability. That's the text printed on the shop directly above the dragon slots, and they should all be self-explanatory, but when it comes to any ability that requires you to gift goods, coins or cards to other players, those gifts must come from your personal supply. Coins are wild. They can always take the place of a good. If an ability grants you any reward in exchange for a gift, that reward always comes from the general supply, not from the player receiving the gift. The other option when you visit a shop is to enchant it. Choose any enchantment card from the face-up row matching that shop's icon. Pay its cost as indicated on the card by returning the necessary goods to the general supply. And remember, coins are wild and may be treated as any good, unless the enchantment has a no coins icon on it. Gain the rewards shown at the bottom of the card, then tuck it behind the shop so the icon at the top is the only part that's visible. Any player gathering from this shop in the future now gains one additional good because of the enchantment. Note that each shop can have a maximum of 3 enchantments. If the enchantment you're casting shows a list of variable rewards for a set of goods, that means you can pay the cost of the enchantment multiple times to increase the value of the reward. For example, if you pay 3 meat and 3 bread when casting this enchantment, you'll be rewarded with 4 reputation. Pay 4 meat and 4 bread to cast it, and you'll gain 8 reputation instead. After enchanting the shop, you may, if you choose, use the fire up ability of every dragon in the place. If one of these abilities allows you to place a new dragon at the shop, you also get to fire up that dragon. Some abilities will allow you to reserve an enchantment. When you do this, take any face-up enchantment from the row and move it in front of you. When you cast an enchantment, you may choose to cast either one from the row or from your reserve. Other players can't cast your reserved enchantment. You may only reserve one enchantment at a time though. If you've already got one, you can't reserve another. When you finish gathering or enchanting, flip any new shops you drew face up. Discard down to a maximum of 6 artisan dragons in your hand, returning the extras to the bottom of the deck, and 7 goods of each type. Then refill any empty card slots in the park or the enchantment row. Play proceeds clockwise to the next player. Now let's talk about them fancy dragons like I promised. Each player starts the game with 1 fancy dragon in hand, and may gain more of them as rewards for abilities. Fancy dragons will describe a goal at the bottom of the card that will reward you with reputation and other goodies. There is no limit to the number of fancy dragons you can hold. There are 2 types of fancy dragons: Sun and Moon. as indicated by the symbol in the top right corner. Sun dragons can only be scored during the game. When you complete a Sun Dragon's objective, reveal it to the rest of the table at any time during your own turn to gain its rewards, spending any goods required. Each Sun Dragon can only be scored once, so leave the ones you've already scored face up on the table in front of you for the remainder of the game. Moon Dragons are only scored at the end of the game, which is triggered when the last card of the Artisan deck or the Enchantment deck is drawn. Each player takes one last turn, including the player who triggered it. Then, every player gains 1 reputation per coin left in their personal supply, reveals their Moon Dragons, and gains final bonuses for the ones whose goals have been fulfilled. Whoever has the highest reputation is the winner. The first tiebreaker is whoever has the most Artisan Dragons left in their hand, and the second tiebreaker is whoever has the most leftover goods. Once you're comfortable with the basic rules of the game, you can spice things up a bit by using the golden enchantment cards or by adding in companion dragons. Deal 1 random companion card to each player during setup, keeping them face up on the table. Players with companions marked with start text begin the game with the described bonus. These companion dragons give each player a special once per game ability that can be used at any time on your turn, unless otherwise specified. When you use a companion ability, flip the card face down to remind yourself that you can't use it again. And that's everything you need to know to play Flamecraft. Well, almost, anyway. For those interested in a single-player version of the game, refer to the last 2 pages of the rulebook. Enjoy!
Hey everybody, we know you got a lot of options for where to learn your board game, so we just wanted to give you a quick thanks for choosing us. If you have any questions about anything at all, help us help you by typing them into the comments section down below. We'll do our best to get back to you as quick as we can. And if you're new here, do us a favor. Click that like button, click that little button that says subscribe, and then the little bell that shows up afterward. That'll give you notifications every time we post a new how-to, review, top 10, special event, and reminders for our weekly live show, The Board and Barrel, both here and on Twitch every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, where we play board games like this one with an audience participation twist that gives you the power to change the course of the game using our Buff and Nerf house rules. Thanks again for swinging by the tavern, and we'll see you soon.